Good evening and welcome to the Monday, July 8th, 2024 meeting of the Martinsville Board of Works and Safety. The meeting is hereby called to order. Please call the roll.
John Levite. Kelly Bray.
Present.
Mayor Costin.
Present.
Mayor Pam Corn.
Thank you. Before we get started this evening, I want to make note that we are going to pull excuse me, item B off tonight's agenda, and that'll be brought back up in the next meeting. Excuse me. Prior to tonight's meeting, you were sent a copy of the Monday, June 24th. Are there any comments or corrections to the minutes?
No corrections. I'll make a motion that we accept them as written.
Made a motion to accept. I will. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. The motion carries. Mr. Oates.
Good evening. I recall 2 weeks ago, we opened the bids for the Main Street sewer project. That was on the Vido. So we're asking for your approval tonight to get the contract in the amount of $535,243.51. That's just slightly more than half of the engineer's estimate. We've got a really good price for it. For most of that, so we're looking forward to that. And our requirements are for that to be done by fall foliage festival time, so we've got a short window to do this, but it's not that long a process.
Any questions for Mr. Oates?
No questions? And that we approve the contract with Reed.
I will second that motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. The motion carries.
Thank you.
I'll notify them there. Mr. Porter.
Good evening, Board. We have one street closing application this evening. It is for the Helms, Jingle Rock Christmas Spectacular and tree light ceremony. That on December the 7th, and they're looking to do some street closures, looking like a 2-block area from Main Street to Pike Street, and Pike Street. This is, I know what they want to say, so I'm just going to say it. They wanted to close Morgan from Main to Sycamore, and Jefferson from Pike to Washington for the hours of 8:30 in the morning until 10 in the evening. And there is a representative present if you have questions.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Streets might not consider that. So in the application, I did, well, can I do?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
There's 2 pages there. The first one shows the event map for last December. You can see that Pike Street and Jefferson were closed as they usually are whenever an event or a larger event is going on at the venue. And then we also test the courthouse square for the trackless train and the carriage. Where I wrote these little arrows on the first page there, it was quite dangerous for a lot of kids and families to be crossing Morgan Street there. And we're wanting to expand the event some because we had a lot of people last year. We're expecting it to grow even more this year. So on the second page, the proposed, I did not say to close Pike and Main. We always usually keep that open, at least up into the public parking there on Pike Street. So we would want to do the same thing. So Pike Street would be closed as usual, as well as Jefferson Street, but we would like to close all of Morgan from Main to Sycamore. Skating rink is going to be a lot larger if you go back and forth. The skating rink was smaller last year. We want us to have craft vendors and the skating rink right there in that little section of Jefferson. But this year, the skating rink is going to pretty much take up all of Jefferson Street right there in that area. So we'd have to move the craft vendors, and closing Morgan Street would make it much safer for families to move around from one activity to the other in the event.
Do you expect that many more craft vendors?
Yeah, well, we want to allow up to 10. Yeah. I think remember exactly how many craft vendors we ended up with. Some people didn't show up because it was so cold and we had those severe winds, so some of them, they set up and their canopy broke. So last year was kind of crazy with craft vendors, but yeah, we wanted to make it area.
And you're gonna keep the food vendors then up on Pike Street?
Yes, yes.
I know Mr. Porter and I looked after this afternoon, and coming down Morgan Street, you've got,
Where you going? I don't know where
Local-
you're starting, so I can't
Local
help.
Rocky.
Yeah.
And she is open on Sundays, but she can still have access from Sundays. But Hayden Cottage and Peddler's Loft are both closed unless they choose to be open that day with traffic coming down.
If I'm correct though, this goes from Saturday morning to Sunday evening.
Yes.
I mean, the closure is from eight AM Saturday morning to 10 PM Sunday
Well,
evening.
the craft vendors are only on Sunday. For Saturday, we're gonna have the food vendors and the skating rink and the bounce house available, but all of that will be from Morgan and Jefferson north. So Morgan Street does not need to be closed on Saturday.
So we could just close Morgan Street Sunday.
Yes. Yes.
Because then I'm looking, then across, Flies closed, Sunday, or Bruce closed on Sunday, Steve's closed on Sunday, and so is the ceramic.
Yes. Yeah, so,
Unless they choose to open up.
yeah, so Saturday can be just like it was last year, so the 2023 map, and then Sunday, we're looking at additional closure, additional space.
So your craft vendors just come in Sunday?
Yes. Yes.
So then the only, if the new restaurant on Jefferson is open by then, we're just limiting access to them.
Yes.
It would still be-
Washington, are you closing Jefferson only at Memorial?
We're, as far as I know, we are not asking for Jefferson to be closed. I know it's one way going, so that could obviously not be possible, but I don't know how to,
Historically, 21 North was closed on Sunday, so I'm not sure. Are you looking at Main Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Let us see what it is. Since we are missing one of our members tonight, I would, let's think about, if we could think about this, I don't think we have any more questions. You got me.
okay.
But, maybe put this on the agenda for the next meeting and give us just a little time to think about
Yeah.
closing that.
There are closed on Mondays and Sunday, none of these are early.
So I will be absent at the next meeting, which is fine, but I just want you to know that my biggest concern was closing Morgan Street on a Saturday.
Okay,
That
Yeah.
was my biggest concern, so if that's off the table.
that's all, yeah.
If
Yeah.
that's not going to happen, then I don't have any problems with this.
Ready to vote on it tonight, or do you want to wait till next meeting?
It doesn't matter to
No,
me. He's got some opinions.
He's not watching that. That doesn't surprise me. I would say, I know how you feel, Kelly. I would feel more comfortable letting John, since he did have a few opinions on this, to weigh in, and let's just put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay,
You want to take a formal motion now?
We'll make sure I get your copy of what she has, I'll make sure it's in the packet.
You need that in form of a motion?
To be tabled?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we table the street closure for the Christmas event on December 7th.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those no, the motion carries.
thank you.
Thanks, Bethany. Mr. Coffey, I'm talking about implementing a BodyWorn camera video feed.
So now that we do have, body cameras that the police officers are wearing, we will be getting requests for data from those cameras. We need a policy in place for the fees that we're going to charge for that service. We are able to charge a fee, we should charge a fee based on the time that's gonna take for our manpower to produce the request. So, what you have in ordinance, or sorry, resolution 2024-0703 is that proposal, some information that I got from the police department, what we believe would be a fair price to charge. It's based on the length of the video that's requested. So less than 5 minutes is $25 charge. Anything from 5 minutes to 30 minutes is $50. 30 minutes to 60 minutes would be $100. Anything over 60 minutes would be $150. And then as to all requests, there'll be a processing fee of $4 added. So that's what we propose tonight for your consideration.
Any questions for Mr. Coffey?
No. I'll make a motion that we accept the resolution 2024-0703.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no, motion carries. Mr. Coffey, item D, agreement, bill obligation bonds.
So, our last several bonds, actually, I can't remember what we have in this Stifel, but, this is our, placement agent for the bonds that, the general obligation bonds that we're going to be, levying. And so this is an engagement letter, it's the exact same engagement letter that we've, entered into with Stifel for the last, I'm gonna go on and say 10, 15 bonds, so it's standard, in here, that's concerning to me, and just ask for your consideration and approval of this, agreement this evening.
I'll make a motion that we accept the engagement agreement.
I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carries. Sewer adjustments tonight, we have 2110 Martinsville Road, number 390, $2,822.02. I know there are some questions in regards to this adjustment.
Yeah, I had one question. I don't know if it could be in the paperwork that you have. It wasn't attached, to our documents. I was just wondering if it was just one unit or if it was several apartment units. The amount just seemed excessive, but.
So he may have it. Well, he's looking, you want to start receiving all of the.
No.
Did you get this?
Yes. I got that, and then I always appreciate that Heather puts on there whether they've had a claim before or not, and I feel like we have had claims from that apartment,
From the
from the,
complex.
yeah, it's from the apartments, but, and since they haven't had a report before, I'm okay to pass it, but it just seemed excessive for one, because according to the write-up, it wasn't very many days.
No, notice was on June 10th, they fixed June 11th.
Yeah, it does say slab leak was found under unit 7, the 390 building on the main line, so I would think that was just an unit.
But it was legal, it's not going going.
For several days. Just didn't, they didn't notice it until, so I'll make a motion that we accept the sewer.
Okay, I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carries. Thank you. Next regular meeting of the Board of Works and Safety will be on Monday, July 22nd, 6:30 in the council chamber. We are adjourned.